I really need to get a social media account. I really need to get a social media account. I really do. I need to make sure that I'm, sending out notifications. Although I don't have much of a following, I understand that much. But I think having a social media account will, push the channel out a little bit further just to reach a broader audience over there on X. And I thought about Facebook too as well. I thought about I thought about some other like Instagram and stuff like that, but I'm like, I think X and Instagram is like the best places for social media right now. But X, I think, is the best place, for someone like me that has a wide variety of different topics that we like to discuss on this here channel. I am, ladies and gentlemen, Unofficially Imo. That's what you're watching here today. I thought about changing the channel to Unofficially Imo TV because the reason being is we talk about everything that you would normally see on a TV, like everything. So I'm like, some of the big channels like Osmond Gold and all those guys, they have like, TV at the end of their name. And I always wondered, I'm like, should I be putting TV in front of mine as well? I don't know. I was thinking about stuff like that. I was like, yeah, we could probably put TV on there. Yeah, absolutely. Unofficially IMO TV. And then a part of me was like, I don't know. I was just thinking about it. Anyway, I appreciate all you guys coming in here, checking out the video, live stream, I should say. Man, there's a lot of stuff going on. Just kind of give it a minute and see how many people come up in here and say hello before I start getting into anything crazy. This is the second live stream that we're doing here today. We were gone for a little bit of time, but we are back. We are officially back, and we are ready to kick some ass, should I say? Kick some ass? No. But yes, I welcome all of you guys. I appreciate y'all being here. Don's in the house.
Ladies and gentlemen. Whoa.
Right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Dawn's in the house. Yes. One more time. Round of applause. I like to use sound effects on this channel. I love it, y'all. I love it. I welcome you to kick back, relax, and enjoy. Man, we have a couple different things I want to discuss here today. And a lot of the things that I try to discuss is just anything that's on my mind, really. And there's a lot of stuff that's going on right now, guys. I mean, there's lots of stuff. Like we have I totally forgot up until like literally like 30 minutes ago that we have the NFL draft today. Is anyone else watching the NFL draft? I know we are, man. We are. I'm probably going to piss some people off, especially if you're a Cardinals fan. I'm a Steelers fan. I know. I'm a Steelers fan. I love the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steel City all the way. Black and yellow. Yes. And we have the NFL draft tonight. We have quite a few picks, actually, that we're getting into. And if you are a Browns fan, if you are a Browns fan, just so you know, now, listen, this is like your Super Bowl. Okay, well, pretty much every Sunday is like your Super Bowl. But I just want to say, I feel for you. It's been rough. It really has. You guys have been through a lot of shit. And I really feel bad if you're a Browns fan. And I always tell people, like, things could be a lot worse. It really can. And I always used to say, like, you can go out and get hit by a truck. You can go out and get on your bicycle and run into a tree. You can get hit by a hockey puck, and that's all like really bad. It really is. And, but at the end of the day, I always say that things could be worse. You could be a Browns fan. And that's saying a lot, guys. It really is. Browns fans. Okay, all right, I'll stop. I'm sorry, Browns fans, if there is any Browns fans out there watching. No, I was just saying, like, Browns have been through the ringer, haven't they? God, for the last, how many years have the Browns been around? Since, like, when did the Browns come into the NFL? They've been around for a hot minute, man. They really have. And they have not been to a Super Bowl. They've come somewhat close. Ariel, what's happening? What's going on? Welcome to the live stream. Yeah, the Browns have been around for a while, and they have not had a Super Bowl. Why that is? It's because they're not that great of a team. Now, I will say that, listen, they have had more coaches than I can think of. I think the best coach that they've ever had was probably Bill Belichick. I can't even count how many coaches the Steelers, the Browns have had since they've been a football team, since they've been an organization. I mean, they have probably had, let's see, guys, it's not even funny. It's not even funny. We got to look this up. The bad thing about having this big ass Shure SM7B microphone, it's a fabulous microphone. The only problem is it's huge, and I have to go like this to see my keyboard. Because I can't type without seeing the letters sometimes. How many coaches has the Browns had? Uh, 1944. Zoran, hello. Oh, you are? Okay, well, you're banned. Have a good day. Anyway, let me share the screen here. According to, if you guys are on the shorts, you can't see this. As early as, let me bring this over. My God. As early as 2026, the Cleveland Browns have had 19 interim head coaches in their franchise history, or 23 total incoming interim coaches. Paul Brown was the first, 1946 to 1962, and Kevin Stefanski is among the recent coaches. I don't even know who that guy is, honestly. With high turnover occurring particularly after the team resumed operations in 1999. Total permanent coaches, 19. Total including interns, 23. Post 1990, guys, that's not good, man. That's not good numbers in terms of holding on to your talent and when it comes to coaching. Post 1999 expansion era coaches, 13, including interns. Most wins, Paul Brown, 158 regular season wins. That was probably the last time the Browns were great. Was in 1944. Longest tenure, Paul Brown, 17 seasons. I think that was the only time I think the Browns actually really had a winning football team. You know what I mean? I think that was it. You know, I mean, come on now. I don't know. I listen. You know, if you're a Browns fan, God bless you. You know, I don't know what the Browns are going to do this year. I'm pretty sure they're screwed, just like every other year. You know, the problem is with the Browns. I'll tell you what the problem is. The problem is they don't retain their talent. They're so quick to just, if they have a shit season, they're so fast to just be like, all right, you're out of here. You know what I mean? Like that's the problem with the Browns. That, like, they have a bad season or two, they just let go of the coach, like go the offensive coordinator, defense. Like they always have like major like shifts in terms of their coaching staff, and you know, they've had a couple good years. Who was the guy that was Trent Richardson? Dude, that dude was a beast. Who was the other guy that was on the Browns that they were having a pretty solid season? How do you watch YouTube live on purpose? Like, what do you press? It only pops up randomly for me. I'm not sure what you mean there, Renee Jones. How do you watch YouTube live on purpose? Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you press to go live? Is that what you're asking? I'm not sure I understand. In terms of the Browns, guys, they've had two really good talents. They've had it was Trent Richardson. And who was the other guy? It was a white farm boy. It wasn't who was it, man? I think he was a running back. Trent Richardson was like the last big talent that the Browns had, and then when he left, they just went down the shitter, man. I'm sorry. They did. Who's the other white guy? He was like a farm boy. Real stocky white guy. He was on the Browns. Browns running backs history. I got to find this. Career rushing. Clay Matthews was on the Browns? I didn't know that. Hold on. I got to find this, guys. I got to find it. This is what I'm looking at. I just kind of clicked on it here. I'm just trying to see. I just need a list of guys. If I see the name, I'll know. If I see the name, I'll know. I'll know if I see it. Where is he? Trent Richardson's like the biggest name to come out of Cleveland for a long time. I guess you could say on the defensive end, you could say Myles Garrett. That's about it. Like for the whole entire team, that's about it. Guys, I don't see the name here. I'm telling you, he was like, what the hell was his name? It's gonna drive me nuts. Look at all these players the Browns have had. Rushing, passing, kicking, receiving, punting, defense, scoring, rushing. Jim Brown. Hold on, is this from to start to finish here, or from like newest to oldest? Let me see. Guys, it's on the tip of my tongue of who I'm looking for. What do you press to watch it like this with live button? I'm located on TikTok. Sorry, new to this. Oh, you're on TikTok? You just got to go to youtube.com/unofficially IMO. Hold on, let me read again. What do you press to watch lives like this? Where is the live button? Oh, so if you go to unless you're going live yourself on your channel, you won't have a live button. But if you're on YouTube's main website, like if you go to their main site, there's no live button there. You just go to their homepage and you can search for me, if that's what you're looking for. You could do that. TikTok, I have no idea. But yeah, just go to youtube.com. You should be able to find what you need. But if you're talking about the live button, you have to go to your main YouTube for your channel. Like for you have to sign into YouTube and go to your homepage for your profile. But you won't see a live button there. There's things you have to do to sign up for that, and it's kind of a process. But yeah, Oh, this is going to kill me. Joe Flacco. Let me see here. Tommy Ran. Guys, somebody help me out. I mean, he was like, there's only like 2 big running backs that I can think of that were just powerhouse running backs. Peyton Hillis. Yes. That's who it is. Yeah. Peyton Hillis. I spelled his name wrong. Oh, guys. Peyton Hillis. Look at this. Yes, this guy right here. How long did... Okay, so... ...2008 draft. He's played for a few different teams. He was on the Chiefs too, but when he was in Cleveland, that's like one of the best players that they've had in a very long time. Him and Trent Richardson. And I think they just traded him away. That's the problem with the Browns, guys. They get their players that are actually really good and have talent, and they just trade them away. And it's really sad. And I know Joe Flacco, is he coming back to the Browns? Or no. He went to a different team. Where did Joe Flacco go? Where did he go? The Browns should have kept him. Yeah, Peyton Hillis was a monstrous running back for Cleveland. Joe Flacco. Let's see. The Bengals. The Bengals. Okay, so I think he's coming back to the Bengals. Oh, he went to the Raiders? I didn't know that. I didn't know he went to the Raiders. Okay. You know, when he was on the Ravens, I mean, this dude, he's 6'6". I didn't know that. I didn't know he was that tall. I know he's over 6 foot. I thought he was like 6'4". He is 6'6". Look at his combine. When he ran, he's a 4.84 seconds, 40-yard dash. I don't know what his combine is. I have no idea. But I think they said the person who had the best combine in NFL history, I think was what's his name? DK Metcalf. Steelers. DK Metcalf had I think like the best combine. I don't know about like ever, but he had one of the best combines ever. He was so fast. Never mind. That was Cousins. Okay, so wait, he's makes more head turning comments. This time Bengals quarterback Joe Flacco has been known to eyebrow. Okay, so he is coming back, but he's not going to start because Joe Burrow is their starter. So, yeah, guys, I don't know what this year is going to look like for any team. I can only talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's all I could talk about. Pittsburgh Steelers. Speaking of the draft, guys, let's go back here. Speaking of the NFL draft. So we have a few different teams here, right? So here's the 2026 annual selection meeting as of April 22nd, 2026. I don't know what I'm really looking at here. All I see is the Las Vegas Raiders. They were awful last year, weren't they? The Las Vegas Raiders have the first round, first pick, first overall. So they're going to come out of the gate swinging. They're going to pick whoever they want. I don't know what they're looking for. I don't get that far into depth. I don't look in to see what either team is looking for in terms of players and positions and stuff. I have no idea. The Jets, terrible last year. They got first round number 2 pick, second overall. Cardinals, awful football team. All these teams were terrible last year. That's why they got one of the first picks, because they were bad. The Browns did all right. They were still bad, but they did better than most years. Number 6 pick, 6 overall, Commanders. I don't know why they're called the Commanders. Them changing their name, in my opinion, was so stupid. You know what I mean? That's so stupid. Why can't they go back to being the Redskins? You know, I tell you right now, that would probably have a pretty warm welcome if they change their name back to the Redskins. I mean, come on. So stupid. I hate it when teams change their name over woke stuff. It doesn't make any sense to me. To please a very small audience and not your overall core base, your fan base, is so dumb. The Indians did that too. The Cleveland Indians. What are they called now? The Cleveland Guardians or whatever the hell? So stupid, man. It's so stupid. Why do you gotta change your name for? To satisfy a couple Karens on the left? I mean, you know what I mean? That's what they're doing when they change their team names like that. It doesn't make a damn bit of sense to me. It really doesn't. Dallas Cowboys, Miami Dolphins, the Giants, Chiefs. The Chiefs, man, what the hell happened to them last year? What the hell happened to them? All I know, Patrick Mahomes got hurt, and they just went downhill. Downhill. Where's the Steelers at? Okay, the Steelers aren't coming in to the 21st pick. I really hope that the Steelers aren't looking for a quarterback. You have 3 of them. One of them, we don't know what the hell he's doing. Aaron Rodgers. He always waits to the last minute. He's probably waiting to see what they do, because waiting after tonight. He's going to wait till the draft is over. You'll hear from him probably, if I had to assume, like, when he was going to make his decision, next week. After the draft is over. I bet you he's waiting to see if they're going to draft a quarterback. I'm saying that right here, right now. Right here, right now. He is a diva. He is. He's a diva, man. Like, either you're going to come back or you're not. Either you want to continue to play or you're not. Don't go off and go find yourself. Make your decision. It's either you want to continue to play football at a high level, being 42, I think he is, 41, 42. Either you want to play or you don't. I don't understand why people are like, well, I have to reflect, figure out what I want to do, and take some time off. What do you mean take some time off? Like, either you want to play football or you don't. I don't understand it. You know, I have to go find myself. I hate that. I have to take some time off. Take time off from what? Exactly. So dumb. They could start Will Howard. Yeah. The number 1 pick out of Ohio State, wasn't he? I don't know. Well, I don't know if he was number 1. I can't remember. But yeah, you have a fresh rookie quarterback. He's not a rookie anymore, but you have a quarterback that can easily probably run circles around Aaron Rodgers, because he's only like 23 years old or however old he is. You have this guy just sat on the damn bench all last year. I don't think he played. He might have played a few snaps, but he didn't start. Aaron Rodgers started all the games, and there was a few bad games that Aaron Rodgers had, and I'm just like, God, man, are you gonna, like, you know, not saying like he was horrible, but his age was definitely showing a little bit, but he was still able to play solid football. So if he was to come back, okay, whatever, we'll just roll with it. But I hate how he's waiting to see what happens. It drives me nuts. Like, just figure it out. I would have known immediately after the season. Like, before the season, like the last couple of games, like, you have all season to think about what you want to do. Now, if you had a really crappy season and you don't want to have another one because you feel like you're too old, okay, hang it up. It's time to hang it up. go back to Green Bay and retire a Packer. That's what I thought he was going to do. Oh, he was hurt. Yeah. He was hurt there for a little bit. I guess what was it? He hurt his, it was his wrist? I think it was his wrist or a thumb or something. And he sat out for like 3 or 4 games. And then they threw in Mason Rudolph. I'm like, why are you putting these other quarterbacks? Like, I get why you do it, but like you have a quarterback who is fresh right out of college, is ready to just get in there and do some stuff, and you didn't do it. Hand or thumb? Yeah, I remember when he had some issues with that. I remember. Anyway, we'll see what happens. I'm waiting more so to see if they're going to. That's what Aaron Rodgers is waiting for. He's waiting because he got fucked out of playing in Green Bay. You remember that when he was in Green Bay? There's a whole thing about it. Like it was like a documentary they had on Aaron Rodgers' life or whatever, and he was talking about the experience in Green Bay before he left. And Green Bay drafted a quarterback, Crosby or whatever his name is. They drafted him, and Aaron Rodgers got pissed. He's like, "Are you kidding me? You drafted a quarterback? I was your quarterback." Yeah, well, not anymore. And that's when Aaron Rodgers got pissed and he left. So how much you want to bet that he's waiting to see what Pittsburgh does tonight? And if Pittsburgh drafts a quarterback, he's going to get pissed off, and that's when he'll make up his mind. You watch. Love, not Crosby. Why did I say Crosby? See, I only care about the Steelers. I care about a couple others, like the Browns. I will watch the Browns. I care about that. Whoever's in our division. So it's the Steelers, the Ravens, the Bengals, and the Browns. That's it. He's a diva, man. He's a diva. Just like, you got millions of dollars. You can do whatever you want. I think he has a good heart. I really do. Because, I think at the end of the day, he's probably funny. He's probably fun to hang out with, but he's probably a big, he just seems like a big pussy sometimes. Like, come on, man. Like, stop. You are such a good quarterback, man. Just stop acting like a big pansy. Like, just play football. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'll say this one thing about the draft here is one last thing is that Aaron Rodgers is waiting to see what Pittsburgh's going to do tonight. Okay, I just thought about this a few minutes ago. I was like, Aaron Rodgers, I bet you why he's fucked around for as long as he did and he hasn't said made a decision what he's going to do yet is because he is waiting to see what Pittsburgh does. Now, if Pittsburgh drafts a quarterback between tonight and Sunday, then he's going to make up his mind in the next 4 days. Okay. So if he notices that Pittsburgh picks a quarterback, he's going to leave. He's going to say, I'm done. And that's that, right? If we don't pick a quarterback, then he'll make up his mind within the next week. That's what I do. That's what I think. Because when he was in Green Bay and they picked that quarterback, and that blindsided him, by the way. He said, I was surprised. That was out of left field. He had no idea they were going to pick a quarterback, and they did. Because he thought he was still their guy. Apparently not, And he left Green Bay and came to Pittsburgh, and, well, no, he left Green Bay and he went to the Jets. God, that was rough. That was right. He should have never went to the Jets. That was bad. That was really bad. That is probably the worst career he's ever had. Probably the worst fucking career mistake he ever made was going to the Jets. He went to the Jets. He was terrible. He got hurt. I'll never forget that. First play. It's just like, was it the first or second or third play in the first quarter? And that was it. He was down. And he was out the rest of the season, and the Jets were awful. And then he came back the next year, and they were terrible. He didn't do that great. And he left. And then he came to Pittsburgh, and I'm like, God, I really hope that you don't bring whatever talent you left in New York to Pittsburgh, and he did all right. He did all right. He's a solid quarterback, right? Because Pittsburgh's a solid football team, really, really solid football team, and that's why we was like, I don't know about Aaron Rodgers, but he's good. He's all right. He's pretty good. So if he was to leave, I wouldn't be bummed about it. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. We have other quarterbacks, but I'd rather see Will Howard get in there and play at the end of the day because he's fresh. So we'll see what happens. But I will tell you that I thought that, the reason why Tom Brady's the best quarterback in the entire history of the NFL is because he outworked everybody. That's it. He outworked everybody. And I always said, because everybody loved to hate Tom Brady. Everybody loved to hate Tom Brady. I understand why, because you keep seeing the same team over and over again go to the Super Bowl and win and just dominate the entire league. Well, it's because of Tom Brady. He was a solid ass, not even solid. He's probably the best quarterback ever in the NFL. And I said, if he leaves the Patriots, wherever he was deciding to go at that time, and he wins a Super Bowl for that other team, brand new team, brand new defense, brand new offense, all new coaching, all new players, and he was to go to that random city, which was Tampa Bay, and he was to win a Super Bowl, I will say that he is the greatest quarterback ever. Because for you to leave where you were comfortable and where you were pretty much worshipped like a god there in Foxborough, and you leave there and you go to another team, dude, and win a Super Bowl, yeah, okay, you got my respect. People still hate him, but he's still the best quarterback ever. He really is. Now, I wouldn't mind if he came out of retirement and came to Pittsburgh. He can't do that, obviously. I think he's like co-owner of the Raiders, and he's got his deal on TV that he does, and yeah, he can't obviously do that, but as an announcer on television. But, if he was to hang it up and come to Pittsburgh and say, I got to put cleats on again. I got to get in there. I'm going to Pittsburgh. He would still probably play at a high level and really do good things if he came out of retirement. I bet you he would. Guys. I mean, come on. You can't say that. You can't say that wouldn't happen, because he would. He really would. Ladies and gentlemen, what else is going on in the world? There's a lot of stuff going on right now. Like, I'm trying to see, I'm seeing stuff that's trending right now. I see that OpenAI is dropping GPT 5.5 next week. What is that? GPT 5.0. I'm trying to find something on this. Hang on. That's probably copyright. Can't play that. Most of this stuff's probably copyright. Let me see.
It is.
Okay. What do we have here? Hang on a minute. First impressions of GPT 5.5. I don't even know what this is. It's trending right now on X. Let's see what it is. GPT 5.5. What is all the hype?
It is different in the sense that it actually understands what I'm trying to tell it to do. I see previously, a lot of my prompts have to be very detailed or very instruction-y kind of, where I'm trying to tell it like, hey, look in this part of the code base, do this. Whereas with GPT 5.5, sometimes I become lazy and I kind of give it a very ambiguous task, but then it will figure it out. It actually it directs its research and exploration to the right.
So we're talking about ChatGPT, right? OpenAI, which is Sam Altman, right? So, I mean, yeah. If you love Steelers, you love to hate the Patriots and Tom Brady. Yeah, you do. You really do. And Cardinals fans love to hate the Steelers. Okay, ChatGPT 5.5.
Areas of the
GPT
code base
5.5.
comes up with potentially multiple options of how we could do it, and then gets it done for me. So it's been impressive.
We had a little backlog accrue, and I just dropped that into a CSV, gave it to 5.5, and said, go fix a couple categories of bugs that had really bothered me for a really long time. And it did, I would say, a 98% job all by itself, and I buttoned some stuff up, and it was done. It was able to traverse a pretty complex code base. It was doing the grouping and architecture of the solutions in a way that I didn't feel like I had to babysit as much. And I saw the alerts on bugs that had really kind of bothered us for a really long time, but were hard to hunt down, totally go away.
It's been incredible using GPT 5.5. I did not expect the tidal wave of pull requests and changes coming in as a result of engineers having so much intelligence at their fingertips.
So, I mean, what is it exactly does it do? Let me, let's take a deeper dive into it. ChatGPT just released the best AI model, and it beats Claude Opus 4.7 in almost every benchmark. Humans take 4 to 8 years to get a degree, while AI gets a new brain every 6 weeks. Okay, so I'm assuming it's just a smarter version of AI, smarter version of intelligence. OpenAI. Oh, okay. Well, hold on. Nope, that's probably copyright. GPT excels in writing. Let's take a look here. So this is from OpenAI itself. GPT 5.5 excels at writing and debugging code, researching online, analyzing data, creating documents and spreadsheets, operating software, and moving across tools until a task is finished. I thought it already could do that. I guess this just does it at a much higher level. The gains are especially clear in agentic coding, computer use, knowledge, work, and early scientific research. Areas where progress depends on reasoning across context and taking action over time. This is all from OpenAI. ChatGPT 5.5 delivers this step up in intelligence without compromising on speed. So I guess it's just faster. It's a faster version of AI. GPT 5.5 matches GPT 5.4 per token latency in real world serving across, performing better across nearly every evolution we measured. It also uses significantly fewer tokens to complete the same codex tasks, making it more efficient and as well as more capable. So it looks like it's just like it rolled out today for Plus, Pro, Business, and Enterprise users across ChatGPT and Codex. We're also introducing GPT 5.5 Pro for Pro Business and Enterprise users in ChatGPT. I pay for the Plus. I have ChatGPT Plus. I use a lot of. I use Grok. I use ChatGPT, Gemini, and a few other different AI tools. I haven't used Claude. I don't think I've used Claude yet. Copilot. I use a lot of that. So a handful of different versions of AI. I like when you think of AI, you think of ChatGPT. Like they're the ones, right? And unless you're Grok, unless you're Elon Musk, you're gonna say no. Grok is the ultimate version of the best AI that's on the market, the most powerful AI. I've never used Super Grok, so I don't know, and that very well could be the case. I don't know, but in terms of like image creation, I will tell you that ChatGPT probably does the best out of all of them. If I'm going to pick which ones, in terms of like research, like if I'm troubleshooting something, I'll use like Gemini, especially if it's like troubleshooting like PC stuff. It does a really good job with that. ChatGPT does a good job with that too as well. Grok, on the other hand, when it comes to troubleshooting, not so much. Like Grok does a really good job on creating like image videos and stuff like that. It does really well with that. In terms of like trying to just find out general information, Grok does really well with that. If I'm trying to create images, I'll go to ChatGPT. If I'm trying to troubleshoot, I'll go to Gemini. I haven't found one source of a one-stop shop AI platform that I would say, you know what, I have to stay here. You know what I mean? And the reason why we pay for Plus on ChatGPT is because I feel like ChatGPT at the end of the day has more options in terms of what I'm looking for when it comes to like image creation. And I feel like ChatGPT understands the process a little bit better than most other platforms. I think it's just something that if you have to pick your poison, so to say. There's a lot to choose from. If I had to pick which my top three, it's going to be ChatGPT, Grok, and Gemini. And if I had to pick another two, it'd be Copilot and Claude. Now, I have heard that Claude is really good in terms of trying to figure stuff out. If you're trying to design something, in terms of like coding or engineering, like it does very well. I've heard really good things about Claude. But this GPT 5.5 looks like it's the better of AI right now. So I don't know. I have to actually play with it and see if it's been released. I guess it's been released already. So maybe we could play with it, figure out what's what, right? But yeah, it's looking like OpenAI here is saying, hey, we have the best form of AI, and it's faster and it writes code faster, low latency as well. So, I mean, yeah, there's a lot going on with this. Trying to see if there's anything else I didn't really see just yet. Yeah, they're just saying it's a new class of intelligence. It's a new class of intelligence for real work, empowering agents built to understand complex goals, use tools, check its work, and carry more tasks through to completion. It marks a new way of getting computer work done. So it seems like it's more of like a tech thing, like for engineers, like coding and things of that nature. I think that's what it's more targeted towards. So it'd be interesting to see like what kind of powerhouse this thing's going to have in terms of like, coding and things like that. We'll just have to wait and see. Fun stuff. All right. Let's take a look at some other stuff, guys. Let's take a look at some other stuff. Listen, I will tell you that I am there's some things like I've been wanting to explore more often, and I shouldn't say explore, but I've been looking into this for as long as I possibly, let's see, how long have I been? I've been into this topic ever since I was probably just a little bitty thing, because I grew up out in the country. I grew up out in the middle of nowhere. And when you hear of the term or the word, I shouldn't say term, but the word Bigfoot, Sasquatch, swamp man, grass man, boogers, like all these different terminologies, like for Bigfoot, like all these different names that Bigfoot has. The only thing that really comes to mind to me when I think of Bigfoot, there's two things that come to mind, and that's Bob Gimlin well, I should say 3. Bob Giblin, Roger Patterson, and Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, for the longest time, was such a huge fan of Bigfoot. And he believed that Bigfoot was real, and he believed that Bigfoot was like everything about Bigfoot was real, right? And he had on some people that would talk about Bigfoot and talk about, the evidence that they have out there to prove that Bigfoot is real. And up until like a few years ago, I think he was talking like, hey, I wanted to believe that this thing was real. I wanted to believe it for the longest time. And it just turns out, in his opinion, he said it's not. He doesn't believe it's real. It's fake. The Patterson Gimlin film, fake. And he talks about how he feels that it is fake. It's not even that he feels, he knows that it is. And it's always fun to just kind of get his opinion on it. And if I find it on here, we can look at it. It's nothing that hasn't been out there already. Why can't I full screen? Here we go. Okay, guys. So has anybody seen, now this has no audio to it, but has anybody ever seen the Patterson Gimlin film? It's not very long. I think it's like, how long is this? Less than a minute. It's less than a minute long. If you're on the shorts, you probably can't see this, but it's less than a minute long. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because, well, number one, it's just, I've always been interested in cryptids and just things that people look at as like, that's ridiculous. That doesn't exist. But you know what? We haven't been able to like prove that, things like that don't exist. There's no evidence of it really at all. I mean, there's so many different hoaxes out there and people like just, faking it and just making like a fuss out of something that's actually not real. But Bigfoot, in the back of my mind, I always think like, man, how incredible would it be for Bigfoot to actually be real? Like, is anyone else with like, how awesome would it be to just kind of kick back and say, yeah, Bigfoot is real. Here's the evidence. Here's, Bigfoot's at the zoo. We actually have it at the zoo. It's in an enclosure, but you can actually go see it. We just don't have it, right? And a part of me is like, well, just because I've never seen one, that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, right? And I'm always thinking to myself, I'm like, how incredible would it be to just be out in the middle of nowhere and see one of these things run across, right? And the Patterson Gimlin film is like the first thing that I think of when I think of Bigfoot. And, when you see the film and you really watch this, like just kind of sit back and just like watch this for a second. So there's, you can't really see, I think that's the Bigfoot like right here, but let me just kind of break down like what's happening here. And Roger Patterson has been passed away for many years. I think he passed away in the early 70s. So this was in the 60s when this was filmed. So Roger Patterson passed away a long time ago, but Bob Gimlin is actually still alive. Bob Gimlin was there with him they were both on horseback that day. And what ended up happening was they rounded the bend coming into I think they were coming down like around a bend into the creek. And when, according to Bob Gimlin, they saw this thing come out of the brush or come out of the woods and started walking towards down the creek. I say creek. It's creek, depending upon where you're from, right? I'll just say creek. So this guy, like this Bigfoot just like it comes out in the middle of nowhere and it spooks the horses. And I think it said it threw Roger Patterson from his horse. His horse got spooked. He jumped off. He got thrown off or jumped off. I can't remember. But he reaches into his saddlebag and he grabs the handheld camera and he runs and he stops and he loses his footing. And you'll see it in the film. He loses his, like he stumbles around and he gets set. And when he gets set, I guess he like gets set on a log that was down in the creek and he sets himself up. And that's where you can really focus in and see this thing walk down the creek. So he's looking at it. He's trying to get close and this is where he stumbles. So he's right here. He stumbles and then he kind of falls and then he gets set. So he gets set and now he can actually focus on this thing. And it turns, that iconic turn, and it just keeps on cruising, man. They call this Bigfoot Patty. They think it was a female, so they said. He just keeps on going. Keeps on keeping on. And they believe, you know, when they see this, like the Bigfoot was like, and I think they were saying 7 foot. They were saying the Bigfoot was 7 foot tall, estimates. And there's been a lot of, I wouldn't say like debunks on this, but there's been a lot of like speculation as if this was real or fake. Is it a hoax or is it real? I'll tell you that when I first see it, obviously right here, right? When you see this thing like turn and look at the camera the way it does, I've seen videos of like actors that were, you know, that were built, like these men that are built, that are muscular, and they're really tall. And they try to mimic how this thing walked, and they can't do it. Like they could get the swing, but I guess like when the foot comes up the back, when it lifts its foot up, the back of the foot is up at an angle like this. And it's hard for a human foot to arc their back foot at an angle like that. It's more of like this, right? It's not so much like up. And that's the thing, like when its back foot lifts, it's flat at an angle, up and down. What is that, horizontal? And, or what is it, vertical? Sorry, vertical, like completely vertical, up and down. No angle. And it's hard for like a human's foot to be like that. And that was like one of the other things. And it was hard to do the walk. You know what I mean? It was hard to do that walk. You see, look right here, like when it walks, watch its foot. Watch his foot. See it? Watch this. See how it's flat-footed? Yeah, it's very flat-footed. So that's there's cleaner footage of this where they just kind of remixed it and made it better, like in like Ultra HD. Let's see if we can find that. Let's see if we can find it. Let me go back here. Joe Rogan said that's fake. And I think he believed it wasn't for a long time. And he just recently came out a few years, I think some years now, that he said, no, Bigfoot's not real, it's fake. And the Patterson Gimlin film. Your dog? The Patterson Gimlin film was fake too. The one that we just watched. And there's like so many, there's different accounts out there of people coming out and say, here we go. Here we go. Do you think here we go. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for right here. Watch this.
Gimlin footage is real.
Patterson Gimlin?
Yeah. Do you think the Gimlin footage is real?
Patterson Gimlin footage? 100% fake.
Fake?
Yeah. It looks fake.
The guy in a suit?
Yeah, 100%. There's so many problems with that. First of all, Roger.
So yeah, he talks about like there's a lot of different issues with this and in terms of it being fake. And he just kind of breaks it down. He's going to talk about like the guy that was actually dressed up in the suit, supposedly. I can't remember his name. I think it's a lot harder to take shit back then. You think it was a lot harder to take shit? Like, you know, like people just talking shit back in the day. It probably was, you know, and for that, for the footage to be that detailed, even if it was somebody in a suit, I mean, that looked really good. To have somebody, you know, be in a suit and walk the way it did and just kind of see how this thing maneuvered when it was walking. Yeah, you think it's fake too? Well, let's see. Let's start this over. Let's start this over. Son of a bitch. Okay, let's watch this.
Is real.
Patterson Gimlin footage, 100% fake.
Fake?
Yeah, it looks fake.
The guy in a suit?
Yeah, 100%. There's so many problems with that. First of all, Roger Patterson literally got arrested for writing a bad check to pay for the camera that he used to film that. They went there specifically to film it. The guy, Bob Hieronymus, who says he was Bigfoot, when you see him walk, he's this big old gangly cowboy looking dude. When you see him walk, he walks exactly like that Bigfoot thing.
You think it was him?
100%.
Huh.
Yeah. They even have a receipt from a gorilla suit that they bought.
Got a receipt from a
Do
gorilla
you
suit.
think the Gimlin footage is real?
Yeah. So it was harder to fake it back then. Yeah, it was. It was. And I think a lot of people looked at that and they said, yeah, you know what? That's real. That's real. And plus, you know, I'm pretty sure people call bullshit on this for the longest time. It's mixed reviews, right? But like for Joe Rogan to come out, like he was never like a skeptic of Bigfoot. Like he always believed, I think he wanted to believe that Bigfoot was real. And then over the years, he came to terms that, yeah, this thing is fake. It doesn't, Bigfoot's not real. And he believes too, I think he said that the Bigfoot community, the people that believe in Bigfoot, is like a cult. He's like, they're a cult because that is a very specific group of individuals out there that go to these conferences that, you know, have all this so-called evidence and footage and everything else. He thinks they're cults. I mean, at the end of the day, when you think about it, I mean, yeah, because not a lot of people think that the Bigfoot's just not real. A part of me wants to believe it is real, but at the same time, when you sit there and you think about it, I mean, like, I know the world's a big place. There's a lot of shit out there that we haven't discovered yet as a species, as a human species. And like back in those days, it's just like it was easy to believe that something like that existed. But nowadays, you're sitting there like, man, people have cameras. People can, you know, fake just about anything, especially with AI and stuff nowadays. You can't even determine like what's real and what's fake anymore just with AI, let alone somebody out there with a camera and a suit, you know, portraying to be Bigfoot or whatever. So yeah, I mean, nowadays it's a lot easier to say it's fake. Back in those days, it was easier to say, yeah, that thing is real, especially if you have a video like this and you had a way of bullshitting people. But when you can make it believable enough for people to actually sit there and go, yeah, wow, dude. Because if put yourself in the shoes of people back in the 60s, 50s, and 60s. I mean, we didn't have that kind of technology. We really didn't. And for people to see something like this, yeah, they're going to think it's real. They're going to think it's real. And I wouldn't blame them. I would think that's real too. But for so many years, I remember watching this over and over again. I'm like, yeah, that's real. That looks so real. Like to me, it looked real. But the more you watch it, a part of you still wants to say it's real. But then there's a part of you that's like, no, that's fake, dude. That's fake. Unfortunately, that's fake. So yeah, I mean, it's hit or miss. You're going to have a group of people that say it's fake. You're going to also have a group of people that say it's not fake. It's actually real.
We kind of stayed and just.
So you have this guy here. This is Bob Gimlin, guys. If you don't know who Bob Gimlin is, well, this was the guy that was there that day with Roger Patterson. Roger Patterson was a guy filming Bigfoot. Bob Gimlin was the guy that was on his horse with Roger Patterson that day. So he was there. This guy was there that day. Now he tells his side of the story of what happened. Now we're not going to watch this entire thing, but I feel like it's kind of important because the thing about with his story is, as far as any video that I have ever seen, his story always turns out to be the same. It never changes. So you know if somebody's lying, if their story changes periodically as time goes on, they change it, right? Something changes. I guess with like his story, it never changed. It's always been the same, you know, always. And I don't know if that's like a form of like trauma where it's just so embedded into your mind that you can't forget the details. It's just there. Right. I don't know how true that is. I don't know. But this guy has never I don't think he's ever changed the story. As far as I know, that I mean, that could be total bullshit, and he could have changed the story and stuff I've never seen. But you know, he's always spot on when he tells his side of the story.
On the east side of the creek, all day, October 20th, to be exact, and it was just a.
Hold on, October 20th.
Bob Gimlin was there. Yes, I was backing Roger Patterson up all the time. While he had the camera up, working with it, I was right in back of him. It was a Saturday, sunshiny, bright fall day, October 20th, to be exact.
October 20th.
And it was just a warm, sunshiny day, and we were just riding up alongside the creek on the east side of the creek. And about 4 miles from where we were camped, Roger was just riding. Roger was riding in front of me. I was leading the little pack.
I think this was a number of years ago when I think Bob Gimlin I think he's still alive. I'm pretty sure he's still alive. I think he's in his 90s now. But he's at this Bigfoot conference, and I think they're just doing this interview with him and getting his side of the story.
Of course, we were basically going out to camp about 40 miles further out than we've been riding. We've been riding, making big circles every day.
Yeah.
And so we were going to go on out, so we had a pack horse with us, a small pack horse. And when we were just riding up the creek bed, and Roger was taking pictures of the beautiful colors, of the fall colors of the
So this is Bluff Creek, California, which is a hot spot for tourists to go to because this is where they filmed the so-called Bigfoot. So I always wanted to go to Bluff Creek. It always looks bigger than what it is. When you see stuff on video, you're like, man, that's a big place. It looks like a big open place there. And then when you go there and it's like covered in vegetation, you're like, okay, yeah, well, it's not that big.
Trees in the brush and all of that. And all at once, when we come around a bend in the creek, there one stood across the creek from us.
Oh my!
And of course, Roger's horse just went berserk. Well, mine did too, but I was able to stay on him because I was a pretty good rider back, and I was only 36 years old.
So here's the thing, the longer he talks, he never, he sounds so believable too. I think that's what it is for me. He tells a story so well, and he never gets super excited, and he's calm the entire time. And, anybody can lie about anything, especially if they're good at it, but the way he explains it is so good. A part of you wants to say, yeah, he's telling the truth. And he always, he's such a nice guy too. He carries himself very well. And the more you listen to him talk, you're like, I kind of believe this guy.
So I was a pretty good rider, and I stayed on my horse, and Roger finally, he didn't get actually dumped off his horse, but he got a little help getting off, and he grabbed the saddle bag cover, one flap that he had it on there, and unflapped it and got the camera out. And started running.
And he's very detailed. He's very specific when he tells the story. It's not like he's fumbling over himself trying to figure out what to say next, and not a lot of pauses either. He just continues to talk and talk and talk. So that's another thing that makes you want to believe him.
Across the creek, taking the picture, and he stumbled. It had a kind of a bank on the far side, and so Roger had had the camera up to his eye, of course, and he kind of stumbled and fell down on his elbows, and he wasn't really sure if he got sand or whatever in the camera, because this is all happening really, really fast and excited.
Had you guys gone up there looking for Bigfoot?
Yes, trying to find more evidence. We were called down there.
So, and then when you hear Joe Rogan's side of the thing, it's all bullshit. But then when you hear his side of the story, it's you want to believe him because he sounds so credible about it when he tells the story. I want this guy to go on Joe Rogan's podcast. I think this would be one of the. I feel like because Joe Rogan is he was such a huge fan of Bigfoot and wanted to believe it was real for so many years, and now he says it's fake. And to have this guy on his podcast to actually tell the story, if this guy is even telling the story anymore, or if he even is traveling and doing these conferences, I have no idea. But I feel like if he was to go on Joe Rogan's podcast, like he would be, I feel like it would get millions of views because you got this guy that says it's real. He was there that day. Joe Rogan thinks the Patterson Gimlin footage is fake. I would love for him to just have a conversation with this guy. It probably goes so many different directions. And I feel like it would be one of his more so watched podcasts that he's had for a while.
Prints, 3 different size of footprints around a piece of equipment. And by the time this was Labor Day weekend. And by the time I got down there, or we got down there.
He sounds like a very
been so many humans
that
come up and walked around and disturbed the tracks. Plus, it rained also.
Yep.
And so there was no real good footprints for casts or anything. So that's why we kind of stayed and just started riding in big circles. Well, not really circles, just wherever we could go, you know. And we'd usually cover about 25 miles a day.
Yep.
Riding through the mountains and different locations.
25 miles a day on horseback. I mean, that's probably nothing nowadays, but I mean, back then, through rugged terrain on horseback, I mean, I don't know a whole lot about riding horses, but, you know, I would think that, you know, covering that kind of ground on horse would be very taxing on your body. And the horses, too.
That's why we had decided to travel further way on back, a lot further back, and look for more evidence because we hadn't found anything in a month. We'd been riding for a month and hadn't located anything.
Yeah, we located anything.
And you guys have this
back in that time frame too, back in the 60s, and where they was like untouched forest. Most likely it was untouched forest. I mean, you're talking about the 60s where, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of like cities and towns like there is today, especially up there. And that's Northern California, Bluff Creek. It's like really North California. So in terms of like just population wise, there just wasn't a lot of people.
This footage.
Well, it makes me feel really good. Of course, Roger's deceased, has been since 1972.
Oh, okay. So he passed away in 1972.
I can't speak for Roger, but I wish he was still alive so that he could enjoy the advancement that we have created. I say we as the whole, everybody that's involved in it has created over the years. You know, it started out where if you had seen a Bigfoot, you're a kook.
Yeah,
and nobody believed you.
It's still like that to this day.
It's a whole different story.
You saw what? You saw a Bigfoot? You must be crazy.
Evidence and sightings and all kinds of evidence. So they can't deny it.
Now people are like, get the fuck out of here. You didn't see anything.
So the last few years has been really good. Just Bigfoot jerky, Bigfoot
you saw a bear.
Everything.
You saw a bear that was on its hind legs. That's what you saw.
The advancement that we have acquired over the years. The first 35 years was difficult. There was around where I lived, gee whiz, I was a real outcast.
Yeah.
And so, and I had a job and all that, you know, and so the guys that I worked with, they believed in me and stuff, but the other folks didn't. You know, they just said, and my wife worked at a savings salon.
So they were talking, he's pretty much saying like, you know, after all that came out, it got the media attention that it did, and back in those days, and people just were so judgmental and it's so easy to believe it, but people were probably thinking that you were just a complete fucking crazy lunatic, and they probably thought you were off your rocker. So yeah, he's talking about how, you know, he got a lot of shit for a lot of years, and he stuck to his guns too. He never once said that I lied or anything. He has always stuck to his guns. And this guy's in his 90s now. I'm pretty sure he's still alive. And he has never went back, as far as I know, has never went back and said, I was bullshitting. I lied.
Institution. And so she worked on the teller line for a while. And they'd come up and say, hey, God, you're Bob Gimlin's wife. We thought that, Bob was a sensible guy, but he goes down there in California and comes up with a weird story that he had made a film of a Bigfoot.
Yep.
So it hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
It hurt a lot. And so that's
because they thought he was lying his ass off.
35 years.
35 years.
In 2003, the Russian scientists had come over to visit with me, and they had invited me in 1990 to come to Russia, but I was busy working, and I just couldn't get the time off, and I was riding a lot of.
Imagine saying, doing something like this back in that time, and you knew what you saw. And let's just pretend it was real, right? Let's pretend what I saw was real. What we saw that day changed my life forever. I don't know what I saw, but what I saw was real. It walked on two legs. It was humongous, and it just kind of walked across the creek there, and we filmed it, and we haven't seen it since. And to be that far back into the woods during that time frame where there was not a lot of people living in that area at the time, and as far back on horseback as they were, 20 some miles, like all the way, way back, and probably untouched territory back in those days. And to see something like that, what you saw. But for people to just sit there and call you like some crazy asshole or some kook or whatever, and you stuck to your guns for that long, right? Why would you put yourself out there getting that kind of negative publicity and then being over just to get a little bit of fame? You know what I mean? I don't think he's made any money off this stuff. I think he has literally, I don't think he's not rich off of this. You know what I mean? Like he has stuck to his guns all this time. His story hasn't changed. But if he was bullshitting, why would you put yourself through that kind of misery? To be like your wife's getting slack for it. You're getting slack for it. You're getting called all this crazy stuff. Why would you put yourself through that kind of torment? But he stuck with it for as long as he did, over 50, 60 some years now.
Colts, breaking a lot of young horses. And so then Dmitry Bayanov decided to come to the United States to visit with me and go to the conference that Al Hodson was putting on at Willow Creek, California. And the response was so tremendous that's what got me back into going to conferences and talking about it and telling my story. And so I've been doing it ever since. I go to conferences all over the United States.
He goes everywhere.
You guys set out to do a documentary on Bigfoot that day?
The day that we started out, okay, we left camp about 1:30 in the afternoon. A sunny, real sunshine, sunny day, and we got everything packed up in the little pack horse and ate lunch and everything, and we got started out. And of course, Roger was riding in front of me all this time, and he was filming the trees, the beautiful colors, changing fall colors.
Yeah. So when he talks about that, there's other that 50 some odd seconds of the so-called Sasquatch that they filmed. That was just part of the footage. I think the total amount of footage that was filmed was like about 2 minutes, maybe 2.5 minutes of total footage. But there's more to it, and that's when he was saying that he's filming all the trees because it's fall time. And he's filming all the different colors. There is footage of that. There's footage of him looking up in the trees, and he's filming stuff as they're on horseback, as they're traveling. So that's true. And you can go out there, you can find it. It's out there.
Thing was changing. And never even thinking that we'd ever run onto a Bigfoot, because we were going to head way on back, about 35, 40 miles farther back, and stay the weekend. And we were only, I say, about 4 miles from where our camp was, just riding along the creek and lazily kind of rolling along there with a sunshiny afternoon, and all at once, boom, there's one standing across the creek. So things started happening dramatically fast. Yeah.
Mount St. Helens. You had said that that's a hot spot for Bigfoot.
Mount St. Helens? Well, Mount St. Helens is was a very mysterious mountain before it blew. There was evidence of a missing people that was never ever located that went up on Mount St. Helens.
So the video keeps going and going and going, and he talks about his experience about the whole entire thing. And when you listen to him, like, he's just a very, very believable guy. I know anybody can lie and make shit up, and people are good at it, especially nowadays. And you have like the technology with AI and all this other stuff now. So you don't know who's telling the truth and who's not. But for him to film this like back in the 60s, he didn't film it, he was there. But for him to be there, tell the story and never change it, and he sticks to it, and he never cracks. Like, I don't think he's ever, now I could be wrong, but as far as like any video that I've ever seen Bob Gimlin in, he always sticks to his guns. He's never changed his story. So why would he carry this lie for over 60 years and tell the same lie over and over again? And no one, I don't think, has ever discredited him, like, at any point. I don't know. I think it's really interesting. But at the end of the day, do you guys believe that Bigfoot is real? I don't know. I think I want to believe that it is. I want to believe that there's something out there that we haven't even discovered yet, or science hasn't discovered yet, like this big thing. But who am I to say that somebody's lying about what they saw? I wasn't there. You weren't there, but who's to say that somebody didn't see something that we can't explain? We don't know. Until I see it myself, I'm going to be skeptical of it, but I'm never going to deny and say that Bigfoot is fake. There's a high probability that it's just a hoax. But there's always that chance that it's not. And you have thousands of people out there that see this thing year in and year out. Supposedly, there's all sorts of sightings every single year. And are all those people lying? Possibly. Are they making it up? Possibly. I don't know. But, are all of them lying about it? I'm going to say no. They probably saw something that they couldn't explain. And there's probably a logical explanation for what they did see. And a lot of people mistake something for Bigfoot. It's actually a bear, because bears can stand up on their hind legs and walk. There's all sorts of videos out there of like bears standing up on their hind legs, and they can stand super tall, 7+ feet tall when they do that. And they're up on their legs and they're stretched out, and they can walk for a pretty good distance. And sometimes they'll just stand up on their hind legs and just kind of look around. And a lot of people would probably confuse that as seeing a Bigfoot or something like that. So again, at the end of the day, is Bigfoot real? I want to say no, it's not. But I'll always be skeptical until I see it myself. So that's that. I just thought that was kind of interesting. We don't have to watch the entire video. It's like 20 some minutes long. We don't have to watch it. But I just find it to be very fascinating that this guy, all this time, all these years, has never, not one time, as far as I know, he's never been caught lying. His story always stays the same. And it always has. And he travels around all these Bigfoot conferences all the time. That's what I was going to look up. Is he even still alive? Let me see. Oh, wait. Hold on a minute. Wait. No, that's Roger Patterson. No, hang on a minute. Hold on. So, Bob Gimlin death. That doesn't make any sense to me. I hope he's not dead. Let's get some music. Put some music on. Here we go. Okay. This music feels like it's so loud. It kind of is. This music, I think this music is like really loud. I got it turned way down too. Okay. What's that doing? Call him a film director. Why? I'm forced to go to Wikipedia here. It doesn't say he's dead. He was, what year was he born? It doesn't say he's dead. He's very much still alive. Okay. Long-term aftermath, film related. Yeah. So he carried a lot, like he got a lot of shit. A lot of shit for this. But yeah, I mean, you know, Joe Rogan says it's fake. It's all fake. There's a Bigfoot documentary out in March 2026, a documentary film Capturing Bigfoot. Oh, there's another one that just dropped. Capturing Bigfoot premiered at the South by Southwest. What's up, Gregory? I'm just talking about Bob Gimlin. He's the guy that filmed the Bigfoot in 1967. The Patterson-Gimlin film. Let's see. The documentary purports to show that the 1967 Patterson-Gimlin film is a hoax orchestrated by the filmmakers. Directors Mark Evans discovered a 40-second clip that allegedly shot in 1966, which purports to show a dress rehearsal of a skinnier Bigfoot walking through a wooded area similar to the location of the 1967 film. Capturing Bigfoot. Mark Evans, the filmmaker, new information about the often cited 1967 film purported to show a walking Bigfoot known as the Patterson-Gimlin film and the man who filmed it. So I guess like this new documentary, Capturing Bigfoot, talks about that whole thing being a hoax. I didn't know this was even out. Capturing Bigfoot. I guess it just came out. Capturing Bigfoot. Nice. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see. Wow, he's old. Yeah, I think he's in his 90s now, but he's still alive. He's not dead. Oh, it was at a film festival where this released. At the SXSW Film and TV Festival in Austin, Texas. Alamo Lamar during. Okay, so it's not on like any. At least it's not on. It's not on Amazon or Netflix or something like that. I was hoping it was be on Amazon or something like that. Critics from Entertainment Weekly and Forbes have noted that the documentary is reeling the Bigfoot community by challenging one of its most foundational pieces of evidence. Okay. Yeah, he's getting up there in age. He still looks pretty good for being in his 90s, though. Was Bob Gimlin, the great debate, was Bob Gimlin of the Patterson-Gimlin film on the hoax? I don't know. This, like I said, this guy has told the same old story for years and years and years, and I can't sit there and say that he's lying his ass off, and he very well may be. I don't know. I really don't know. I can't say that to be for certain. But it's really interesting, guys. It's really interesting. I don't know. I'm always into like stuff like that. Like stuff that like, you know, I'm not into like, you know, a lot of like, I don't know. You know, like I'm into like, you know, like the werewolf and, you know, like vampires and, you know, it's cool to hear stories about stuff like that. Like the Dog Man is like the modern day werewolf. Mothman in West Virginia, like all that stuff. You're missing the draft. Oh, the draft is on. All right, guys, I got to go see the draft. I totally forgot what time it was. It's after 5 o'clock. I got to go watch the draft. I'm sorry, guys. I just, thank you for letting me know that. We'll have to come back and talk about some of the other stuff, guys. I only planned on being on here for about an hour and a half. Well, we're right at the hour and a half mark. Okay. Yeah. But anyway, listen, I wanted to come by, hang out, talk about a few different things. And I appreciate every single one of you guys that came in, stopped by, said hello. If you check out the stream after the stream is done, it's going to be turned into a VOD on YouTube here. If you haven't already, ladies and gentlemen, please like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here. Turn on all those notifications so you don't miss any time that we go live or that I drop a video. Right now, I just wanted to get back into the swing of things. We haven't done a lot of videos lately, and we haven't done a lot of live streams on this channel, and I feel like you know, I've been slacking a little bit. But nonetheless, you know, I'm here, and I'm going to stick around for a little while, and we'll do some more live streams. I have fun doing this stuff. I love talking about stuff like this. But anyway, listen, guys, enjoy the rest of your night. Go Steelers, and we will see everyone on the next live stream, guys. All right, have a